Hi, welcome to my very humble dining room slash yoga studio. You know, we can't wait for the perfect conditions to practice because that's never going to happen. Conditions are always changing. Case in point, my corner of Palo Alto is kind of the noisiest corner because there's construction going on that way. They're building a parking garage. There's a train station behind me, and there's Ben having meetings in the other room. So there's a lot of noise today. We should let that be part of our practice. So, speaking of practice, I thought that I would show my favorite lower back sequence. So, speaking of trains, I think that's the 1220 from San Francisco. We want to lie down, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Let's take a breath in and exhale. And just feel the weight of the body settle. Let your mind quiet. And then very gently begin some windshield wipers. So we're just bringing a little bit of movement into the hips and the lower back. I've loved the repetitive nature of this sequence. I find it really calming. The next time the knees come to center, we're going to bring the knees to the chest. And we're going to keep the movement continuous, keep the movement fluid. We're going to keep the movement thoughtful and intentional. I'm letting my arms generate the movement. I want the stretch and release to be passive in my lower back and at the top of my hips. The next time the knees come to the chest, we're going to draw circles. And then we can change direction. And still, it's the arms that are generating the movement for me. And then we want to transfer all this energy from the lower back into the hip. And this is how we're going to do it. We're going to hold the left knee to the chest and continue circling the right knee. And change direction. And then change sides, holding on to the right knee and circling the left. And of course, change direction. And then the next time the knee is over the chest, we're going to bring the knees and the ankles together. We're going to stretch our arms out to the side. And I'm just going to slowly draw my knees over to the left, almost but not quite to the floor. As I breathe in, the knees come back up. And as I exhale, I take them over to the right. Now, the brave among you may want to do this with your legs straight, and you're invited to do that. That ship has sailed for me, so I keep my knees bent. And I work slowly because I really love to feel the action of the muscles. And one more time, we're going to come up from the right And then start working our hip flexors. So my left knee is going to stay at my chest. I'm going to straighten my right leg. As I exhale, I'm going to lower the leg toward the floor. As I breathe in, I'm going to pull it back up. When we're doing this, we want to be aware of what's happening in the lower back, and nothing should be happening in the lower back. It should all be the front of the hip. If you find this movement a little bit too challenging, all you need to do is to bring this foot to the floor, and suddenly it becomes a whole lot more accessible. The next time the right leg is extended toward the ceiling, bend the knee, straighten the left leg, and do it all over again. Let's do 2 more. And the next time the left leg is extended, go ahead and bend the knee, bring both feet to the floor. Cross the right knee over the left. Shift your hips to the right, and then take your knees to the left for a passive static twist. So I want my right hip to be stacked on top of my left. I could put something underneath my knees for a little bit of support. And I'm really trying to just let the weight of my body release. Almost taking a yin yoga approach to this, but we won't be holding it for very long. Maybe 2 or 3 more breaths. And then let's bring the knees back up to center. Uncross. Bring the hips back to the middle. Take the left knee over the right. Shift the hips to the left and drop the knees to the right. And again, maybe adding support underneath the knees and allowing the weight of the body to release. Some of us might be getting some sensation at the top of the hip and the lower back. Other people will feel this running down the outside of the thigh. Everybody's a little bit different. The important thing is that you're not taking yourself to a place of pain. And then after your next exhalation, let's come back to center. Uncross. The hips come back to the middle. And we're going to bring the knees to the chest again. Now, on this time with the knees to the chest, you could add movement if you want to. I prefer to stay still. I just like to feel that really lovely opening in the lower back. Now after this, you could stretch out and just give yourself a few minutes of relaxation. I'm going to bring my feet down to the floor and show you my favorite way to sit up. I like to place my hands underneath my hips, and then I will press through my forearms and my hands and push myself up to a seated position. So we might finish by just circling the torso in the hips and changing direction. And then coming back to center, letting our hands rest, maybe closing the eyes for a moment. Taking a breath in and exhale through the mouth. Another breath in through the nose. And exhale. And one more. You can blink your eyes open. Thank you so much for letting me show you my favorite lower back sequence.